So hello, my name's Rob, this is Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and today I'm going to be painting this awesome Magus model that was gifted to me by my good friend Rikke. I've had it sit on my shelf since Christmas, and I decided time was right to slap some paint on it. So assembling and things like that, it's all good. I actually found this model a little difficult to put together at the end. I painted sub-assemblies and I found it hard to get the pieces in place once everything was painted, which was a little bit kind of it was frustrating, but I still think the model turned out quite well. This is going to go with my Cult of the Rusted Claw that I have in Necromunda, and all I do is at first I take my time just to work out what I can get away with painting, what I can get away with gluing together, and what needs to remain off the sprue, things like that. But being a time-lapse video, I didn't want to go into too much detail about how I did things or things like that, so it gives me a lot of time to do other things and explain why I do certain things in certain ways, which might help. I always find if you can spray something a different colour, like you can see over here, the top half is sprayed white, because the majority of that is going to be pale armour, so it was easier to spray that where the rest of it was grey, to match the kind of grey undersuit of some of my other Genestealer cults. I actually knocked this out on a Saturday evening, and my cat recently had kittens, meow, and so I'm where I'd normally sit, I have the kittens in the studio by my feet because they're in a box by the radiator, because the desk is against the radiator, and it was all very uncomfortable, I guess you could say. I've also had a bit of a nasty infection in one of my fingers, and you might glimpse a bit of a white nail very quickly on my right hand. It's made painting quite uncomfortable actually, so this is kind of like my first model in a couple of weeks that I've kind of wanted to sit down, and it's felt, you know, well enough to do some painting. With the orange, I base coat everything with Jokaero Orange on the robes. Everything gets a wash of Agrax Earthshade. I don't necessarily like doing capes with washes. I prefer to use thinned down paints to add depth, but I did want to get this done, and I wanted to get it, you know, in front of my army, so I kind of opted to take a bit of a cheating man's route on it. Then it's Fire Dragon Bright, I believe, layered over, and then the last one, Troll Slayer Orange. That might be the other way around. How I do the cloth I'll put in the description below, but I always like doing cloth. I think it's a good way of showing a lot of motion in miniatures, and there's so many different effects that you can add to things like cloth. Like you can do loads of small little like cross-hatching lines to make it look worn and tatty and things like that, or you can go for like the ultra pristine kind of nice smooth transitions all the way through, which is something I've always really enjoyed doing cloth. It could be quite daunting, but once you sit down and really have a good go at it, I think it's you can get some really good effects. I do come back to it a few times, just as I've got other colours, like I'm mixing a bit of Pallid Witch with Fire Dragon Bright, I believe, just to add some nice bold lines in the highlight, the ridges of capes and things like that. Skin's really easy to do. I do skin in a bit of a scale, so if I want a warmer skin, I'll start at Bugmans Glow, then go Cadian KIslev. If I want a paler skin, I'll start at Cadian, and I'll go KIslev and then Flayed One. For this I wanted a bit warmer skin, so once I put down the Bugmans Glow, I actually washed with Druchii Violet, and it gives it this really cool kind of alien-y type of look to it, which is kind of what I was going for with my Genestealer cults. Then it's just a thin layer back over Bugman's, Cadian, and then some dappled spots of KIslev. I also came in with some thinned down Xarius purple, and added some little veins towards the back. I don't know what it is about Genestealer Cults, but they always look like they've probably got massive headaches. I don't know what it is about the baldness. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm rapidly approaching that, so it's playing on the heartstrings. Who knows? But all I do is I just work my way around the model piece by piece, assembling it as I go. As I said earlier, I had trouble getting the cloth to kind of meet at the middle, which was frustrating, but it ultimately, I don't think it's too noticeable. Not even if you're, you know, the rule of 3 feet away, which is what you'd normally be looking at a miniature from. I also did want to do a bit of a hand swap. I didn't want to having the staff. I wanted to have a bit of like a pistol or something like that, but I was a little bit undecided on which one. So I opted to paint the staff for the minute and stick it on. Once again, Fat Fingers had a hell of a lot of difficulty with that. Finished up the last few highlights, and there we go. What I will do is I will put all the colours that I used in the comments below. I'll try and do it in sections so everyone can reference if there's a bit you like. There are pictures over on Instagram which you can go and check out. Don't hesitate to reach out to me and be like, hey, you know, how did you do that? Or you didn't say how you did that, or hey, you know, you could do that, or try it this way. It's always appreciated. It's a quick video. I just wanted to put something out. I had a lot of fun with this one, so thanks again, Rikke. Thanks for sticking around, and also kittens. Who doesn't love kittens? There's 4 of them there, and a big cat.